Good afternoon, everyone. Today is the first session of IELTS reading, and we will be starting with IELTS reading, and we will going through all the um, terminologies and all the strategies and methodology of getting high grades in reading section of the IELTS test. Okay. So as you see on my screen, if you can see the screen, please give me thumbs up. And if you don't see the screen, then tell me and I will check from my side. If you see that the screen is there and you can see, please give me thumbs up or say something. This is IELTS reading, page 36. We can see, okay, that's great. Okay, IELTS reading. I'll read the first part of the text here. As you see on the screen, when you go to university or college, you may be overwhelmed by the amount of reading you are expected to do. You will have to do a lot of this reading on your own, and you will need to be able to read discriminatingly. This means you will need to have the skills required to focus in on the information that is important to you and to skim through the information that isn't. Okay, now in this paragraph, as you all read it and understand, the main thing it said that when you go for the reading test, you will be having different kinds of reading, and you might be overwhelmed, or you might be stressed, or you might be surprised that so much reading and so many words to read. And another thing it says that the reading is like different kinds of readings, and you have different parts and different questions, different kinds of questions and all that. You have to skim through to get the information if the information is not given direct. Okay. While I was preparing today, I don't know how you will feel about the reading, but what I was thinking that reading, you really need to improve your vocabulary for the reading part. Okay, because at times, for example, if you look at the first and second line, the word overwhelmed, then the word discriminatingly, then the word skim. If you don't, these are like the words which will be coming again and again in our reading. Not only in reading, it will be coming even in writing, even in speaking. Okay, so if you know the meaning of these terminologies, or these kind of words which are like repeated words, you will be able to answer IELTS questions in a better way. So what I suggest, okay, and I will show you my work. Okay, I want you to develop some kind of your vocabulary journal. As you see on the screen, this is how I did it today, and I thought that it would be a good idea to share it with you, so that you can also develop some kind of vocabulary journal. And if there is a word which you don't understand, and this is like a keyword, and this is the word which is being used again and again, so what I will do, I will put it in my reading journal, my writing journal, and I will be checking the meanings of the words, and I will be going through it. And like after reading the word and the meaning a couple of times, I will be able to memorize the meanings of the words. And when the word comes next time in the reading text, or someone speaks the word, I will not have any problem understanding the word and the meaning. Okay. For example, we read 3 words: overwhelmed, discriminatingly, and skim. Okay. If you look at the first word, overwhelmed, it means to be too much to deal with. Like, you might be surprised that you are dealing too much of reading. You feel overloaded or you feel overburdened. Okay, so that is the meaning of this word. Sometimes the meaning has some other meanings. The word has other meanings as well, but the meaning which I have written here, it is in this context, in the reading context, in IELTS context. Okay. Second one, the word is discriminatingly. Discriminatingly mean being able to see the difference between the reading passages. I mean, you can understand that what is the difference between this passage and first passage or the second passage or the third passage. Okay. Now, the next thing is skim. The next word which we have in our list, that word is skim. Now, this word is also very important. When I say very important, it means it will be coming again and again. So I really want to know what the word means and how can I use it in my everyday speech, or how can I know when this word comes next time. So there are two techniques which we use in the reading. One is called skimming and one is called scanning. So this word will be used again and again by me or by the book or in IELTS test. Or skim mean to read or consider something quickly in order to understand the main points without studying it in detail. Without studying in detail, when you want to look for the main, for example, you have a passage and you want to know what is the main idea of the passage. So you skim, you don't scan. Through scanning, you reach each and everything. That takes time. So when you look at the question, you will see that is this question related to skimming or is it related to scanning? If it is related to skimming, you don't need to go through each and everything. For example, if I ask you, what is the passage about? What is the main idea of this passage? What do you think? What is the first paragraph about? So you don't need to read each and every line. You just go, like, have a look at the passage and you will understand, oh, the passage is about like village life, or the passage is about city life, or the passage is about culture of certain countries. Or when I ask you to scan, okay, scan, certain questions need scanning. Okay, for example, look at this one. The act scan mean the act of looking at through the text carefully or quickly. When you go through the like you look for minor details. For example, if I ask you for a name, for a date, for the name of a person or a place, you will go for scanning. You will look at each and every line, because you don't know where the meaning, where the date is given or the name of the person is given. But for skimming, you don't need to read each and everything. Okay, you just need to get an overall idea or general idea. So this technique is mainly used in the IELTS test. You must be familiar with skimming and scanning. Why? Because the time is very limited. You will feel that there are so many, it's about 3,000 words which you will be reading in the listening passage, and then questions and answers. So if you have techniques, you will have a great chance that you will score better. Many students, those who have knowledge but they don't have the strategies, they don't score that much as compared to the students who have just moderate knowledge, but he has great techniques, strategies, and he has some kind of certain methods, he can score better. So with the passage of time, as we proceed, we will be checking certain strategies and we will be using them so that we can score better in in the exam. Okay, after some time, it would be great if you just tell me how is everything going. So far, I introduce you how to create the vocabulary journal. So because through the reading, we will be going through so many vocabulary words. So every time you come across a word, I really suggest that you develop your own reading journal the way I have developed. So this is your personal vocab list. So every time you need to find something, you can go back and see. Okay, coming back to the reading part. Okay, second passage is the second paragraph. The IELTS examination tests your ability to read approximately 2,750 words in a fairly short period of time. Okay, short period of time in order to find out certain information in both the academic and general training modules. You are given 60 minutes to answer. A total of 40 questions. Now look at the challenge which you will be having. 60 minutes is the time, 40 questions, and you will be reading about 3,000 words. Okay, 40 questions, and each question is worth 1 mark. Within this time, you will also have to transfer all your answers onto an answer sheet. There is no extra time for transferring your answers like the way we had in our listening. In reading, no. You will have 60 minutes, like 1 hour, and you will have 40 questions, okay? And each question has 1 mark. Okay, now the other thing here, you have 2 different types of reading tests, okay? One is academic reading and the other one is general training. Both are the reading tests, and there is slight difference in both. Both cover the reading aspect. There is small difference in academic or general training, okay? So you check what kind of test you are writing, but for just to practice the reading, it's fine, you can continue working even on both. So you are just developing certain strategies to improve your reading comprehension. So let's start with reading, academic reading. The test has 3 reading passages, and each of the passage is accompanied by a set of 13 or 14 questions. I mean, you have a passage, 3 passages. At the end of every passage, you will have 13 or 14 questions. The passage will be written in a variety of different styles. The passages are covering different aspects of writing styles. For example, you will have descriptive text, okay? You will have discursive and some kind of argumentative, where you have a kind of an argument. There are a couple of words here coming. For example, accompanied, descriptive, and discursive. These are like other words which I will be speaking all the time, and especially when we go to the writing, we will be also reading these words. So look at the meaning of this word, accompanied by, mean followed by. To go with someone or something, or exist at the same time. For example, the course books are accompanied by 4 CDs. Mean the CDs come with the book, okay? Or like, for example, here you will have a passage. The passage is accompanied by 13 or 14 questions. Okay, then next word was descriptive writing. It's a kind of writing, it's a piece of writing that tells what something or someone is like you explain or you describe someone or something. Next one is discursive. Discursive, it's a kind of writing that involves discussion. It's kind of you talk about the advantages and disadvantages, merits and demerits. It's a writing style which needs discussion. You agree on something or you disagree. There is some kind of argument in this kind of writing. So in IELTS reading, you will have different kinds of passages. Okay? It can be descriptive, it can be discursive, it can be argumentative, it can be simple like storytelling or explaining certain things. Okay. Second part, if you have any question, you can also write in the chat box so I can answer if I think I should answer now, or I can answer at the end of the session. Each passage may have more than one type of question. For example, you may be asked to find detailed information in a passage. In order to complete sentences, you may have to identify views within a passage. You may have to understand how something works and complete a diagram or chart. Okay. Someone is asking what is descriptive. I have already explained. It's a kind of writing where you explain something, you describe something, you are just giving the details about something. Okay. Identify views within a passage. You may have to understand how something works and complete a diagram or chart. If you can identify the reading skills being tested in each set of questions, and if you have a strategy for reading, I'm here. I'm just trying to indicate here that I'm here. Doing each question type, you will have a better chance of completing the reading test successfully. Now, so far we understand 3 passages. Each passage is having 13 or 14 questions, and the passages are from different kinds of writings. It can be descriptive writing, it can be discursive, argumentative, something like that. And you will have a variety of questions like a diagram completion, chart completion, long answers, short answers, multiple choice questions. Different questions will be given in the question side. In general training, the test has 3 sections, same like academic. Section 1 contains 2 or more texts which are based on social situations. Section 2 contains 2 texts based on work of course related situations. And section 3 contains 1 text that tests general reading comprehension. The question type are similar to those in academic module. The text in the first 2 sections are more likely to be descriptive or factual. Factual means based on facts. It tells you some kind of facts. The text in the 3rd section may contain some argument. If you are studying for a general training module, you will benefit from doing reading units with some kind of detail. I think both are like dealing with reading comprehension. Maybe in the beginning, in the practice, you can work on both, and later if you are doing something specific, you can work on that. Okay, this was a kind of introduction to the reading module. Okay, so far let me see if there is any new word which has come in this text here. Yeah, the next word which has come is factual text. Factual text means text based on facts. Okay, another word which we are going to see, that is orientate. If you remember, we studied this word in listening as well. The first listening chapter, that was orientating yourself. Same in the reading. This is the first chapter. It says orientating yourself to the text. Orientating means to make yourself familiar with something or someone, or to adjust. Okay, now Iman, can you unmute yourself and please give me just few things which you have got so far from maybe I spent like 10 minutes explaining all this. Can you, since you are a new with us today, can you just unmute yourself and say something What is something you understood from this part so far?
From the vocabulary journal?
Yeah, I mean from the reading module, page 36. What did you get from about the reading passage?
I have learned about the different sections in the
Right?
reading, such as like descriptive text or some like argument. I learned that, and I learned
Okay.
about general reading module and general training, and
All
what is the
right.
difference between it.
Okay. So, another important. Previously, are you maintaining any kind of vocabulary journal with you, where you write down all the difficult words and you write down the meanings, and on and off you keep looking at them?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so you are already doing it. That's great. That's great. Okay. Thank you, Iman. Look at the next page. This is page 37. This is reading one. I'll be showing you the book now. Yes, it says orientating yourself, mean just making yourself familiar with the text. Okay. Now, how can we make ourselves familiar with the text? This is something we will be studying now. As a reader, you need to have strategies to help you understand a text quickly. The first step is to predict. Same like listening, we developed a strategy that before even answering, before going to the questions, we predict the answer. We predict something about the text, or we predict what is something going to happen. We predict that what is the next paragraph about, what will be the next question about. The first step is to predict what the text will be about by reading the title and subheadings. The reading the title and subheadings gives you some give you some idea that what is this reading passage going to be about. Like before reading the 1,000 words, you have already got the idea that okay, this passage is going to be about this or about that. Okay, you can form a quick overview by asking yourself certain questions as you read. You need to pay attention to paragraph, themes, and keywords. Well, when you look at the keywords, you will understand the paragraph in a very little time. Okay, I will be asking you now a couple of questions. So I give you another like 10 seconds. Go back to this passage again and see here. And I want you just quickly grab most of the information, because I'm going to ask you a few questions now about this passage. It's like reading comprehension. Imagine if this passage comes in the reading test, okay, what will be your answer? I'll give you like 5 to 6 seconds. We have already gone through it. You can take down some notes if you want, keyword words or the main words of the text or the main idea, something like that. We have already discussed this in detail. So you can have a look now, and I'll be going to the questions. Okay. Remember, as I told you, skimming and scanning. When you look for a general idea, you skim. I also call it a bird eye view. You just have a bird eye view and you answer the question. But if I ask you for a date or specific information, a number, name of a person, you go for scanning. So when you look at the question, just quickly try to understand, is it scan or skim? If it is skimming, you don't need to read each and every line. But if it is scanning, you have to go through each and every line, but in a quick way. Remember, 3,000 words, 1 hour is the time, and you have to also transfer your questions. Okay, my question is, please, when you answer, you can just raise your hand and I will unmute you. My first question is, after reading page 36, what is the introduction about? What is the introduction about? Tell me, did you skim or did you scan? When you answered this question, what is the introduction about? The whole introduction which we have just read and I have explained, what is that introduction about? Okay, yes, Mariam, please answer.
Well, what I understand, uh, it's a scanning. The first paragraph of the page is like we can skim, but in the second paragraph, academic reading module and the journal training reading module, they are explaining each section and then the questions and the type.
My question, Mariam, I'm just asking, when you
Yes.
look at the whole text on page 36,
Yes.
what is the text about?
Okay. It's about the introduction of the reading module, that what will be in this module and its
Okay,
sections.
thank you. You got the answer. It's IELTS reading test module, right? Okay. Now, do you think to get this idea, you have to go through each and every line?
No, I don't think
No,
so.
you don't. So will you skim or scan?
Skim.
Skim, thank you. Please mute yourself. We'll move on to question 2. Why was the text written? If you want to answer, please raise your hand and I will allow you to answer. Why was this text written? The text on page 36. Why is this text written? Why was the text written? Mariam, yes. Okay. Someone else also raised hand. Mariam, just wait. Let me see who's the other person. I want to give chance to maximum people. Iman, okay?
To give us information.
To provide information, thank you. But information about what?
Information about reading.
The text is, it's written to provide information on IELTS reading test. Thank you.
Yes.
Now, my next question is, who was it written for? Who was it written for? This text is written for who? Or in other words, Sajjad, you can tell me who can benefit from this text. This text is written for who?
For the student which can take the IELTS test, which can give the IELTS test.
Thank you, Sajjad. The students who are taking the IELTS test, okay? The people who are interested in IELTS, the teachers who are teaching IELTS, okay? Or like some kind of information for all the people who are who are interested in IELTS or IELTS reading. So these are like general questions, okay? When every time you have a text, ask yourself these questions. What is the introduction about? Why was this text written? Why is this text written? Who was it written for? Who is the beneficiary? Who is going to benefit from this text? Every time you read a text, these questions should directly come to your mind. Okay, after that we move on. We move on to the next part. Okay, because these are critical questions and these questions will help you to orientate yourself to the text, to make yourself familiar with the text. Okay, because jumping directly to the question is not going to help you. You have to have some kind of understanding what is the whole text about, why was this text written, and who who can benefit from this text. All right, we will move on now using titles and subtitles, subheadings. Now, every time you will have a text, the text will have a heading or subheadings. While looking at the heading or subheadings, you can get some kind of idea or understanding what is this text going to be about, or what is the examiner going to ask me about the text. Okay. Nearly all articles that you read in journals, magazines, and newspapers will have a title. Many will also have a subheading. Okay. Number 2. Read the title and subheading of this magazine article and answer the questions. The title is Airheads and the subheading is Pilot's judgment may be impaired by too many long-haul flights. By too many long-haul flights. The topic is Airheads. Subheading is Pilot's judgment may be impaired by too many long flights. Now, when you look at this text here, the topic, the main heading and the subheading, I want to ask you a question. What will the article be about? What is the topic? Please, again, if you want to answer, raise your hand. I will say your name, unmute yourself and answer. Now, we didn't read the passage. I just look at the topic and the subheading. And I want to ask you, before that, let me go back to the vocab words, if there is any word which is coming in this part. There is a word, impair. The word is coming, impair. To spoil something or make it weaker or less effective. As I said, it can impair your vision, it can impair your sight, okay, or it can impair your hearing. Long haul flight, a long and difficult journey. That is called a long haul flight. Impair, to spoil something. Because these are the words which long haul will come, but impaired is also given here. Long haul is also given. Okay. So now my question is, what will the article be about? If you read this heading and subheading, tell me what will be the article about. Hamza, yes?
Sir, it may be information about the pilot's vision problems while they have long flights.
That's right, Hamza. It can be how long flights affect pilots' ability to fly. Okay, that can be. Okay, second question is, that's B. What kind of person would be interested in this article? Now, this is an article, it's 1,000 words. For example, if this comes in the newspaper, who would like to read this, this kind of article? Okay, someone has raised hand. Please, if you didn't answer before, you're answering first time, please unmute yourself and answer the question. I will be turning on the chat again. Yes. Hamza? Hamza, what do you think?
Sir,
What
maybe
kind
the air traffic agencies like the CAA in Pakistan or the air crew which manages the flights, maybe they are interested in this news.
Okay. Not only in Pakistan, all over the world.
All over the world.
Yeah. So people studying aviation, maybe the students who are studying aviation industry or they want to join in future, or the people who are dealing with such kind of things, or like scientists doing some research on that, or like some general public who are interested in this kind of business, or maybe the pilots or the other crew members Next one is C. What would you expect to read in the first paragraph? I mean, what do you expect if you have this article, 1000 words article? What do you think? What will come in the first paragraph? What do you expect coming in the first paragraph?
Maybe how it will affect their vision in long flights. What is the reason? Why is it happening?
Okay. Yeah, it can be Hamza. Yes, Carla, go ahead. Carla, go ahead, unmute yourself and speak, please. Yeah. Yes. I can't hear you. Carla, your voice is not coming. I don't know. Everything looks all right. Please try again. Okay. So in this question, I'm expecting that he will give me more details about, I will look at the title. He will give me more details about the airheads. He'll give me more details about pilot's judgment. So my question C is very much related to question A, that he will give me some more details about airheads. Okay, now we go to question number 3. Okay, question number 3, it says, now read the first paragraph of airheads and answer the questions which follow. Okay, and this is a very short paragraph. Okay, Carla, I hope you fix it and give your input to me. It would be great. Okay, it says here, globetrotting across several time zones on long-haul flights impairs memory and reaction time by shrinking part of the brain. This might mean that airlines should allow their crews at least 10 days to recover from jet lag before they work on another long-haul flight, says the scientist who discovered the effect. Okay, globetrotting, we already discussed. Okay, let's see, is there any difficult word here? Globetrotting, the act of traveling to a lot of different countries, mean long distance flights from one part of the world to another part of the world. Okay, for example, from Middle East, I traveled to South Africa. Some of my friends, number of my friends are coming from South Africa. So it's a long haul flight, takes hours and hours. Or some of my friends come from Canada. So they say, oh, it was too long. So globetrotting, the act of traveling to a lot of different countries. Not only like long flights, mean these pilots, they travel in so many countries. Okay, another word, impair, we have already discussed. Long haul flights, I have already discussed. We'll go back to the text here. Now, question A, what is the writer's purpose in the first paragraph of Airheads? What is writer's purpose in the first paragraph? Please raise your hand and answer question A. When you read this kind of introductory paragraph, what do you think? What is the writer's purpose in this first paragraph? Okay. I'm waiting for your answers. Okay. Someone, Carl, is saying. Okay. Yes, Hamza?
Sir, maybe to tell us that long flights may shrink their reaction time, and that may result in accidents or mishaps.
Yeah, that's right. Is giving a brief explanation. In this first paragraph, if you look at the topic sentence is always important. It gives you the whole, not all the time, most of the time it gives you all the details which you are going to read in the passage. If you look at globetrotting across several time zones on long-haul flights impairs memory and reaction time by shrinking part of the brain. Okay, so this is something he is going to explain. And question B, is there a sentence that best summarizes the main idea in the first paragraph? Which sentence you think is the main idea and the rest is supporting detail? It's very important you understand the main, because there are questions in the IELTS reading where you will be asked, give the main, what is the main idea? So what do you think here? What is the main idea in this paragraph? Which sentence tells you the main idea? The first line, thank you. Hamza says the first line. Yes, that's right. The first line is the main idea of this whole thing. The rest is supporting detail. Okay, I'll move on. These are the types of questions that you can ask yourself when you first read a text. They should form part of your reading strategies. So remember, this is the first strategy which I'm giving you, that when you go through, when you look at the reading passage, the first three things, orientate yourself. Ask yourself what the introduction is about. Okay, why was the text written? Who was it written for? Who will benefit from this kind of text? Then look at the heading and the subheading and the main idea. This way, if you understand this one, 60 to 70% of the job is done. You are ready to start answering the rest of the questions, and you have the whole picture of the passage of 1000 words. So this is the first strategy which you will be applying during the practice tests with me, and then going for the final exam. Okay, I'll move on. Is there any question so far? If you have any question, please raise your hand, or you can write it in the chat box. Okay, so what I assume there is no question, I'll continue. Okay, next one is question 4. Now, get ready. While preparing, I felt we have to put a lot of efforts when we are doing the reading module, and we have to work really hard to crack everything. Okay, work with a partner, read this title and subheading, and then discuss the questions A to C in exercise 2. Okay, here is the picture as you see, and the title is Pearly Gems. Would women through history have been so keen on the pearls around their necks if they had known what was inside? Robert Dunn peels back the layers of this eco-miracle. Okay, so look at this text again. Look at the topic, pearly gems. Would women through history have been so keen, interested on the pearls around their necks if they had known what was inside? Robert Dunn peels back the layers of this eco-miracle. Peels back is an idiom. You know the meaning of word peel. Let me see if there is any word. Peel back, yes. Peel back mean to lift something away from the surface of something. Mean you remove the surface and you see what is inside. Okay, So this is an idiom. We'll be moving on after reading the heading and subheading. Exercise 2, that was, okay, the same questions as we did in the exercise 2. What will the article be about? If you can give me an idea. Okay, what will this article be about, Sajjad?
Sir, I think it will be about the precious stones.
Precious stones or gems, or maybe
Gems.
gems and jewelry. And okay, what kind of person would be interested in this article?
The people who are dealing with the precious stones, like in university, there are many things, many libraries in which these stones are put, and the other people who,
Maybe researchers, maybe the people who deal with gems and jewelry and all that.
yes, sir.
Okay, or okay. Do you think women will also be interested in this kind of research, or they are just interested in buying and using the things?
Sir, I think they are just
Not much
interesting
interested. Not much interested
not
where
interested.
these jewels and jewelry comes from. They would not go in long details. I'll just buy and use the.
Enjoy them.
Okay. The next question is, what would you expect to read in the first paragraph?
I think he will give the main idea or the summary of about the pearly gems.
He will give more introduction, more explanation about the pearly gems. Okay. Now here we have the 2 paragraphs. Okay. We have got it here. Okay. Iman, would you please unmute yourself and help me in reading?
Sure. Question 5. Now read the first 2 paragraphs of Pearly Gems and answer these questions which follow.
Okay.
There is a mystery and preciousness that we attach to pearls. Yet, despite what some people believe, it has nothing to do with a grain of sand. Pearls, which have long been the treasures of the wealthy, are often the products of dead worms, which remain entombed at the center of the jewels. Minute or minute,
Minute, yeah,
minute, translucent, and ethereal. Larval,
Ethereal.
ethereal. Larval tapeworms drill into the flesh of mussels to use them as intermediate hosts en route to their later hosts, which in most cases are ducks or fish. The muscles' immune systems battle the worms by encircling them in layer after layer of nacre. The same calcium-based material found in the mussel's shell, the invaders suffocate and then rest for eternity encased in these tiny chambers.
Okay. So now, if you are a student of marine life, if you are a student of such kind of science, you will find it very easy because you know that the vocab and the terminology being used. But if you are not, you might be overwhelmed that, oh, this text is so difficult. There are a number of words which are confusing. There are a number of words which I don't understand. So don't worry. Stay with me. Okay? Don't leave the group. I will help you to understand. Okay? And I'm pretty sure by the time we finish our reading, you will be able, I'm 100% sure that if you focus with me and you spend some time, by the end of the reading module, you will find it just a piece of cake. You will find it quite straightforward and very simple. So if you feel now that, oh, this text is quite hard for me, don't worry. Okay, it is, but as we go through different kinds of texts and we develop our vocab list and our vocab journal, as I shared it with you, you will find it easy. Okay, I will read the text one more time. Okay, this is just the beginning session of the reading. I'm going a bit slow, so please bear with me. There is a mystery and preciousness that we attach to pearls. Yet, despite what some people believe, it has nothing to do with a grain of sand. Pearls, which have long been the treasures of the wealthy, are often the products of dead worms, which remain entombed at the center of the jewels, minute, translucent, and ethereal. Larval tapeworms drill into the flesh of mussels. Okay, now here mussels, not your body muscles. Mussels is a kind of sea creatures which people eat. Flesh of mussels to use them as intermediate hosts en route to their later hosts, which in most cases are ducks or fish. The mussel's immune system battle the worms by encircling them in layers after layer of nacre, the same calcium-based material found in the mussel's shells. The invaders suffocate and then rest of eternity encased in these tiny chambers. Okay, there are a couple of words which will help you to understand the text better. Okay, see here, minute. We spell in the same way like give me a minute, same spelling, but we pronounce it differently here. It's a different meaning word. It's minute, means small detail, extremely small, something very small. Okay, another word is used here that is called translucent. Translucent is in an object or a substance that is almost transparent. You can see through, okay, like glass. Next word is ethereal, extremely light and delicate, as if not of this world. Okay, nacre, a smooth, hard substance forming a layer inside the shells of some sea creatures. It is shiny with different colors and is used to make buttons and for decoration. This nacre kind of thing, when you go on the corniche or on the beach, sometimes you collect it. I remember we used to collect it when we were young, and then we bring it home, wash them, and use it for different kind of decoration. That is called nacre. Mussel, a small sea creature. As I said, it's a sea creature that has a black shell with two parts that close tightly together. Mussels can be eaten. Okay, so these are like a couple of words. You don't need to go and find the meanings of every word. Since this is the beginning, I'm trying to make things easy for you so that you understand the passage well. Okay, now I'll give you 10 seconds or 15 seconds that I have explained the meanings. So you read the passage one more time and look at question A, B, and C. I'll give you 20 seconds. Okay, let's start question one. Remember the topic. The topic was already given, the pearly gems, and then the subheading about same thing. Robert Dunn peels back the layers of the eco miracle. Now we'll move on to question one. A, what is the writer's purpose in the second paragraph? Yeah, Iman wants to answer. Yes, Iman?
It's talking about the habitat, the structure
Okay.
of the larval tapeworms and the
I
layers.
mean, what is the writer's purpose in the second paragraph? If you look at the first sentence, larval tapeworms drill into the flesh of mussels to use them as intermediate hosts. Don't you think it's explaining some kind of process by which pearls are formed? When he says tapeworms drill into the flesh of mussels to use them as intermediate hosts en route to their later host, which in most cases are ducks or fish. And finally, he says that the invaders suffocate and then rest of eternity encased in these tiny chambers. The rest of the things are just encased or locked in these tiny things. So mainly is explaining the process by which pearls are formed.
Yes.
Second part, how would you expect the article to continue? What do you think? How do you think the article will continue? What will come next? Because it's 1,000 words. What do you think? What will be coming next in this article?
Maybe then how jewelry is made out of these pearls.
Maybe how jewelry is made out of these pearls. Okay, any other answer? Hamza?
Sir, maybe psychological, like what we see is a precious pearl, but it's a in term for some larva or tapeworm.
Can be, or it can be with more information about pearls. Okay, maybe some background of this production, how it is produced, how it is taken raw from the undersea, and then how it goes to the labs, and then it goes through the whole process, and then there is a final product where you can buy in the mall and buy at the place and buy it and give someone as a gift. We don't know, but we are just guessing. We are just like orientating and predicting. C, is pearly gems factual and descriptive, or does it present opinions and argument? Yes, okay. Some are raising hands. I really wish that you all try to participate, even you give wrong answers. Yes, Mariam?
I think so. It's factual, but along factual, it is also descriptive.
Okay. It is factual. It is factual, and it is descriptive. He is describing these pearly gems. Yes, it is descriptive, but at the same time, it is not fiction. It's not fiction. It's not imaginary thing. It's not suspense. It's not horror. It's not any other kind of storytelling. He's talking about real stuff. So yes, it is factual. So after this one, every time you have questions, please don't forget, ask yourself the questions which we have discussed so far about orientating yourself. Okay. Using paragraphs and main ideas. As you read through each paragraph of a passage, you gradually build on your understanding of what the writer is trying to say. Work with a partner and discuss these questions. A, how do paragraphs help the reader? When you first read the passage, what should you look for each paragraph? We have already discussed where every time you look at the text, what kind of questions you should be asking. Read the title of the passage on the next page and discuss with the partner what you think it will be about. Now read the whole passage and underline the main idea in each paragraph. Okay, we move on. Okay, so here we have the topic, and then we have the subheading. Okay, so we didn't study it, we didn't read it, just we'll try to get something when we look at the topic and we look at the subheading. Yes, please. The topic is the undersea world of sound. Okay, before we move on, since this is our first session, would you please share something? How do you feel so far? You feel very nervous? You feel all right? How do you feel so far? How is it? Or what strategy have you got so far that which you will just use to understand the text? Can you give me some feedback on that?
Sir, I'm Abir. I feel a bit hard, but as it is first day, I think uh, in the next day I will understand how to practice reading.
Okay.
And today I capture one strategy that is before reading or while reading the unknown word, I can write with meaning. It will help me to understand the passage.
Understand. Okay. So
Okay.
what I believe, I take baby steps and I go one like step by step. I'm not rushing, and I really want you don't rush. One thing at a time, bird by bird. Say kill bird by bird, not all the birds in one shot. So what I suggest here, as we discussed today in our like reading section, let me show you the book here. Instead of just going ahead, let me go back and recap this whole thing so that you understand what is something we have covered in this kind of in this reading module. We had a number of to me vocabulary words. I was just discussing with my wife. She's also an English teacher, and she was telling me that it is the only thing your students need to improve. They should come up with all these vocabulary words. If, for example, if you know the key words in the text, you will find the text quite easy, right? But if you don't know the meanings of the keywords, okay, you will find the text very hard. If you remember, a few days back, I shared a book with you. It mainly deals with vocabulary. It gives you certain techniques, strategies, how to develop your vocabulary. It also gives you a wide range of vocabulary words with different exercises, with different quizzes and assignments where you can practice. Okay, so I suggest maybe one day I can just start that book with you and like teach you like 1 or 2 pages, and then you carry on with your own plan. The second thing, as I did, create your vocabulary journal. This will really help you not only for the IELTS test. I always believe, look at the bigger picture. It will help you in your real life. It will help you at your work. It will help you in your personal life. Okay? It will help you when you are working and you are writing emails, or you are having presentations, or you are talking about different things. This vocabulary will also help us when we go to the speaking section or we go to the writing section. Because one big thing in the reading and the writing part is that you use a variety of words. And you can get the variety of words only through having your own vocabulary bank. Okay? And you will have better understanding while you are watching something, you are reading something. It will help you in comprehension. Okay? So like today, we have discussed like a number of words. The first one was overwhelmed. Second one was discriminatingly. Then I gave you two very precious words. These words are not less important or less valuable than gems and jewelry. That is skimming and scanning. Just go through these two words in detail, check the dictionary, try to find out something more about what is skimming technique, what is scanning. As I said, skimming is for something general, scanning is for something specific. So when you look at the question and you see that, oh, this is something I'm asking about the general idea, like for example, so far we covered questions which are mainly about skimming. We didn't talk about scanning when you look for a specific purpose or specific information. Then there was word by, accompanied by, followed by. Descriptive writing. Now, while we are studying reading, we are talking about descriptive writing. So then later when we go to the writing, you don't need to study this. What is descriptive writing? You already know. Then discursive. Okay, we discussed this. Factual text, like this was the factual test. Orientation. Like in the beginning of the school year, we always give orientation. Mean you just give introduction, or you just like go through the whole process, or you make yourself familiar with everything. Globetrotting, like traveling to a lot of different countries. Impair, to spoil something or make it weaker or less effective. Long haul flight, a long journey, a long difficult journey. Peel back, it's an idiom. You should know some idioms, because later when you speak, you will have flowery of language. You have a variety of language in speaking and in writing. Minute, it's like another word like minute. Minute, extremely small. Translucent, something transparent. Ethereal, extremely light and delicate. Next one, nacre. It's a smooth, hard substance forming a layer inside the shells of some sea creatures. It is shiny with different colors and is used to make buttons and for decoration. Muscle, it's not that muscle, your body muscles or your knee muscle or your neck muscles. It's a small sea creature that has a black shell with two parts that close tightly together. Mussels can be eaten. Some people eat. En route, on the way to or from somewhere. I couldn't give you long details of these vocab words, as I am not teaching you vocabulary here. I'm teaching you IELTS reading. So if you want to discover more about the word origins, word families, you can go to some kind of like standard dictionary and you can see that. So this is one strategy. If you develop this thing of developing your vocabulary, maybe by the time we reach to reading module, chapter 8, you will have plenty of words and you will not find any difficulty when you are facing any kind of text. Okay. The other thing today we studied, we had like we made ourselves familiar with the reading, what kind of reading you will have, how many words, like 60 minutes, 40 questions, you will read about 3,000 words. And there is no extra time for transferring your answers. So let's say if you have 10 minutes for transfer, you are left with 50 minutes time. 50 minutes, 40 questions, and you have to read 3,000 words. It's not an easy job, but with lots of practice, you will find it quite all right. Okay, then we also discuss what is academic reading and what is general training. There is slight difference. If you are a student and you are just starting to prepare, I suggest you go with both kind of reading, and then when you reach toward the final preparation, you can just go to that part where you are doing your general training or academic. Okay, so this is something we discussed here. Then we orientated ourselves with the text. and we had few questions. What is the introduction about? Why was the text written? Who was it written for? These are the questions must come to your mind every time when you look at the text. The next thing is you ask yourself, when you look at the heading and the subheading, what will the article be about? What kind of person would be interested in? What would you expect to read in the first paragraph? Okay, and what do you think? What is coming? And also try to understand what is the main idea of this paragraph, or what is the main idea of this whole text. Okay, this is, again, I'll say, it's not a rocket science. You need to develop some kind of common sense. And how? Through practice. There is no other way. I wish I had a magic wand and I just put it on Carla or some of you all, and you become perfect in reading. But believe me, I don't have. Okay, I'll go through with you. I will be with you in this whole journey of practicing, and practice, that makes you perfect. Okay, thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow at the same time.